Dr. Bruno. I'm a 71-year-old runner right now, and I've actually run for about 45 years or so. The running was something that I started right after college and continued. Um, uh, it was a stress reliever when I was in medical school and residency, which were very stressful times for me. Um, they have helped me maintain my health over the years. Um, uh, when I got into my 40s or so, because I wasn't really doing too much with the running, just doing a few miles here and there, I started putting on some weight. And once again, running and exercise came to my aid. I was able to get rid of the excess weight. And what that also did was get rid of blood sugar problems, hypertension problems, cholesterol problems. Basically, it allowed me to stay healthy and again. At this point, because of my age, I have to run slower. I can't run as long, but I still try to stay fit because in addition to the running, I do some weight training to try to stay in good shape. And the running that I do, even though it's slower, I try to maintain a pace that's reasonable for my age, and try to put in enough time on my feet so that I stay in good health. Um, uh, Running has definitely changed quite a bit over the years. When I first started, the shoes that they had for running were fairly hard. The whole idea is that a hard shoe could make you run faster because you could push against the ground much easier if you didn't have a soft shoe underneath you. Um, uh, Later on, some people developed what's called the barefoot shoe, which was to mimic the ability to run barefoot by having a shoe that had hardly any cushioning material between the foot and the ground. And some of it made it look like the shape of a foot, which really was gross. The shoes lately have been getting into a lot of cushion. And part of the reason is that one of the runners did a 2 hour marathon in a very cushiony shoe. And people thought this was a great thing because nobody thought that anybody would be able to get under 2 hours in the marathon. It was thought to be humanly impossible. Because he did that in special shoes, now the shoes are becoming more special with thicker, cushionier midsoles. Running clothes have changed also. When I first started running, everything was cotton. So you started sweating, all the clothes would get soaked, and you get a chill many times. If you were running in the winter, you had to really be careful that you didn't ice up. I remember coming home sometimes and I would have ice on the outside of my clothes from all the sweat that was soaking into the clothes and it had frozen. And it didn't really provide too much insulation either. Once cotton gets wet, it really doesn't have any insulating properties anymore. So over the years, the running clothes became synthetic, and they had qualities that didn't hold sweat, so that sweat was able to pass through to the outside and evaporate. The training for running, I think, has changed a bit. More and more runners who are at a high level are now starting to do weight training to strengthen their body. I saw a video of one of the marathon runners who's a relatively tiny man, and here he was lifting about 75 to 100 pounds and doing squats. because he knew if he had strong legs, he was going to be able to tolerate the pounding in the marathon better and may be able to run a little bit faster than he would otherwise, and he might be able to win the marathon by a few seconds. And that's sometimes all it takes is just a few seconds difference in some of these races. So, more are doing different training that's, better and getting better results because of that. Okay, so hopefully this helps you understand the history of running from my viewpoint.